WWE Hall of Fame is March 31st, and this one's honestly shocking. Not because she doesn't deserve it, but because I would have thought that there would have been several women inducted before her. But, I guess since they don't really want to put China in this year because of, the death and then porn and everything else, I guess they can at least have their version of China, their newer version of China in the Hall of Fame. Beth Phoenix, the Glamazon. And honestly, I'm not upset with this pick at all. It's just, again, I would have put probably a lot more women in the Hall before her. Maybe like a Miss Elizabeth, maybe even a China. God, I mean, who else? I mean, maybe Jazz? I don't know. That's a stretch, but, maybe Jazz? I don't know. But, again, it's not that she doesn't deserve it. It's just there's several women I feel that should be before her. But nonetheless, she has a great, short history, but a great one. I mean, even in amateur wrestling, you look at her amateur wrestling career, and this is historic, I think, because this is the first time I believe that I might be wrong on this, that we have two amateur wrestlers going into the WWE Hall of Fame. To be fair, I think it's not the level of a Kurt Angle, but still, that is still kind of historic in a way that you have a male and a female amateur wrestler going into what people have said is the biggest Hall of Fame, or at least the most recognized Hall of Fame in professional wrestling. Even though it is a little passe, because, there are a million people that I could list that deserve to be in it, but probably will never be in it. But nonetheless, with her amateur wrestling career, I mean, for Northeast Wrestling, she was a women's champion in 1999, and for the New York State Fair, the women's champion in 1999. For her professional wrestling career, in Far North Wrestling, their cruiserweight title, held that. The George Tragnos / Lou Fez International Wrestling Institute, the Frank Gotch Award in 2015. For Glory Wrestling, which is an all-women's promotion, their world championship one time. In Ohio Valley Wrestling, technically a two-time women's champion, but I guess OVW doesn't recognize that reign because she lost it and regained it against Alicia Fox, or the future Alicia Fox at that time. It was in a gauntlet match. From what I remember, it was a gauntlet match, so she lost it and won it back, I guess. So I don't really know how. I have to watch it again to make. It's been so long since that happened, I don't remember exactly when that was. But, for the sake of it, on the record, a one-time OVW Women's Champion, but technically a two-time. But in that reign alone, I mean, we had history made in that reign with the, as far as I know, first women's ladder match to be in a somewhat televised state. What I mean by that is OVW at the time was WWE's developmental, and they had a ladder match with Beth Phoenix and Katie Lee. Then would go on to be Katie Lee Burchill. Then would go to be Winter. And Katarina Lee, I think, is what she goes by now in the indie scene. But still, a ladder match that was historic because at that time it was WWE's first ever women's ladder match. In fact, Beth Phoenix has had a lot of firsts in the WWE. The first ever I Quit match in WWE for the women against Melina. And a match that was great just based on Melina's flexibility alone. So she could be put in holds that were probably unimaginable at the time, and with the body being able to bend so in a certain way, at least with her flexibility, it was great. It was a great showcase of that in that match, as well as the first ever women's tables match, with teaming up with Natalya the Face, Lay Cool, where both women had to be put through a table to win the match, as far as I remember. For Pro Wrestling Illustrated, she ranked number 2 in the PWI's Female 50. For those who don't know what that means, it's basically the female equivalent of the PWI 500, but it's only limited to the top 50 women in the wrestling world. And she was number 2 in 2008 and 2012 of the PWI 50. And for WWE, former Divas Champion, 3-time WWE Women's Champion of the original Women's Championship. I had to say the original Women's Championship because of now there's a Raw and SmackDown one. So you have to separate those belts from the belts currently on WWE television. And of course, the Hall of Fame award. I'm sorry, not the Hall of Fame award. I say that because he also has a Slammy Award for Diva of the Year in 2008, and of course, the Hall of Fame. But, you know, you look at her career, was just so great. And also, you think about it, only the second woman ever to be in the Royal Rumble. The first, ironically, China. And she eliminated, I believe she eliminated Khali from that match. And that was pretty much it. She got dumped out by Punk, I think, in that Rumble. But still, a great achievement nonetheless to have the second of possible 3 women. I think Karma was the last one. But, you know, you look at her career. And there's one thing I left out, just based on, it's probably the most biggest achievement of all. Glamorella, Santino Marella. If you could somehow get Santino over and make your career better at the same time, then I don't know what to say. I mean, if you could get Santino over in any way, shape, or form, you deserve the Hall of Fame, regardless of who you are. But nonetheless, her accomplishments in the ring have been short, but not bad, if you think about it, as far as that era of divas where they weren't given that much of a chance as they were nowadays. But, you know, again, there's probably more women I would put before her, but if anything, I'm glad she's in the Hall of Fame.